You are getting the secrets to amplify your message and share your gifts with the world. My name is Andrea Albright, and I am your hostess for today's TV show. We are going to be interviewing an amazing guest who not only has star power, but she actually has the word yes in her name. Welcome, Amber. How are you?
Thank you, Andrea. I'm so excited to be here today.
Now, we have to talk about your last name because it is actually so cool. And you don't pronounce it like a yes, you pronounce it Lilyestrom. Did I say that correctly?
You got it. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, with that name and with yes in your name, do you believe that it has, if it was ordained or your destiny for you to be positive?
I love that. I have never really thought about that so much. I think I just I love that it's kind of lyrical. I love the Lily part of it. I love the femininity of it. My maiden name is Radzovich. And so there's a very different energy and, intonation with these two last names. And while I love my maiden name and I'm grateful, for my heritage and my history and all of that with my family, I was really excited to be able to take the last name Lilyestrom and, from a personal brand perspective too, it just feels like it really aligns, with the message and with my heart and with being, very much in my divine feminine in the way that I work in the world. There's just a beautiful blend there. And so I love that you're highlighting the yes part of it, because I would say, that is a core value for us. It's about saying yes to the life we actually want to be living and creating it. And if it feels like a block or there's something that gets in the way, we're the kind of people that we look at, all the different pathways that we could possibly take to get to that yes, if it's something that's really important to us. So I love that we're starting with that today.
What a fantastic answer. And I am really big on names. My name, Andrea Albright, people meet me and they say, well, of course you're bright. Of course you're about light and star power. And so I really think it's neat whenever things line up like that, when your name and the vibration of your name can actually connect with the vibration of your message. And I loved your answer for that.
Yeah. I mean, you are all bright. I mean, truly, you're such a light. So thank you for bringing that awareness to an even higher level for me. Thank you.
Oh, that's so cool. Well, we are going to have so much fun on today's show. I've got a lot of surprises in store for not only the viewer, but also for Amber. You showed up and you were like, what is this about? What are we going to be talking about? And the spontaneity is all about saying yes to life, and saying yes to what comes up. So here's my first question for you, Amber. Before we get into your business and your message and what you're up to in the world, which is absolutely amazing, I want to ask you, what is your definition of star power?
Ooh. My definition of star power is a person who embodies confidence, truth, alignment with the deep knowing of who they really are, and they allow that to just radiate out into the world. There's a quote, and I'm not sure who said this, but the leader is the calmest person in the room. Like, the real leaders are the people who have that calmness about them, that poise, that centeredness. And you can tell, right, when there's a crisis and there's the person who ends up being the leader, it's always like they're taking in the information, they're evaluating so that they can make the decision on what's next. And so I think to me, a star is someone who has the capacity to like really hold a lot and to be able to reflect back to the people in the audience, and in whatever audience that looks like. It might be just two people talking, the truth of who they really are. It's like mirrored, it's mirroring, it's light. It's like, that's going to be the theme of our conversation, I think, today. It's really about like radiance and light and bringing more of that into the world through their presence.
Fantastic answer. One of my favorite things about doing this TV show is that I learn so much when I ask that question, because everybody has a different interpretation of it. And the way that you're presenting it is, it doesn't have to be out there, extroverted, and it's that sense of who's the leader. And you know it on an intuitive, and your whole being knows. If we were in a room and everybody had 2 seconds to point to the leader, usually we're all pointing to the same person, because they have that gravitas, that connection to their inner self and their inner truth. What a great answer.
What a fun question. This is great. I love it. You're amazing.
Yeah. Well, why don't you tell us about who you are, what you're up to, and how you are amplifying your star power in the world?
Yeah. So, who am I? Well, I am a wife. I am a mother. I am a daughter and a sister and a friend. I am someone who is just totally enamored with nature and learning through the abundance that is just right outside our windows, and knowing that our greatest teachers are available to us in any moment, that our wisdom that we've been basically taught to separate ourselves from and to seek outside has always been inside. And so my work in the world is really about helping people to come home to who they really are, and to connect to that information that's been always there, ever present, but it's been sort of kind of covered and buried under fear and the stories that we create about what and who we have to be in order to get to our dreams. And so I bring people through an excavation process. I help them illuminate the truth of what they really want. I help them reclaim it, and then I help them liberate themselves. And I happen to work with a particular group of people who are often entrepreneurs and visionaries and, conscious creatives, and people who are wanting to contribute, like really generously give of themselves and their gifts and contribute while they're here in these physical bodies and in this incarnation. And so I'm just here to, walk people home, walk with them, and do that. My title is transformational branding strategist and business coach. But really, I'm a teacher. I am a student of the universe, and I'm just so grateful that I get to be here in human, because these physical bodies, right, are our opportunity to really let our souls get to play and be present for this lifetime.
Holy cow, you give the best answers ever. What an incredible way to open your heart and your message and let us really connect with who you are at the core. That's amazing. There are so many things that I want to talk to you about. I've already got the little seeds in my head of like, we have to cover this, we have to cover this. But let's start with something you mentioned. You mentioned fear. And perhaps there's more fear on the planet, less fear on the planet. I don't know. We could get into a debate of whether it's harder now than it was 100 years ago and the last global pandemic occurred. But we don't really want to debate anything. The thing is this thing called fear seems to really have a lot of power over people. And I'm curious how you approach fear, whether in your own life or with your clients, and what is something that the viewer can do today to maybe create a new relationship with this word, fear?
Yeah, great. So, I believe that fear is the absence of love. And I believe that fear is a natural, innate experience that we have as humans. And it's actually part of what keeps us alive. It's required to have a natural fear when we touch the stove, or, when we're a little kid and we see a barking dog that we're not sure if that's like a safe pet to, so fear has its connection in terms of how our brain works, and it's useful. Those stress hormones, the cortisol hormones that rage through our bodies when something scary happens or anxiety producing happens, like that's there to help us stay alive. So that's a beautiful thing. But I think that, oftentimes we don't learn how to master our mindset and to master, we just really believe everybody else's stories about what life gets to be about. And we're raised, most of us, at least those of us who are adults in this moment in time in 2020, were raised by people who were raised by people who came here on boats by and large in many ways and shapes and forms, right? My ancestors, my grandparents, a couple of them came over to the United States on a boat. And so I think it's really important to note that, like we inherit, their genes are passed along. Like I was present in my grandmother's womb, and through my mother, like we're so much more connected than we realize. And we bring these things, this fear gets kind of passed down like a baton to us. And sometimes we don't even know why, like why do I have that fear about money or that story about money? Why do I have that fear about showing up and being seen? And we find out later when we do the deep work, right? Which I know you have, and many of those who are viewing this have as well, and have been in that deep work. We discover how those stories overlay and how our grandmothers maybe had a trauma that then they overprotected their daughter so that she wouldn't have that same trauma. And then our mothers pass that along to us. And so it's like, I think the thing we can do is sit down and really look at what it is that you are afraid of. Let's get specific. Let's not let fear just be this big general blanket that stops us. Let's actually look at it, walk up to the beast and say, why am I afraid of you? What is it that I'm afraid of? And what I have found on my journey is when I do that, I discover that there's a lot sort of enmeshed in that story that was never even mine in the first place. And then I've been carrying these fears with me, and I've been perpetuating them and perhaps even passing them down to my friends, my family, people in my sphere of influence. And they're outdated beliefs that I'm ready to release. So that would be the exercise I would ask people to kind of explore today. And to remember that at the end of the day, fear is the absence of love. And what heals us and what saves us and what is really the answer is always unity. It's about oneness. It's about coming together, understanding that we're more alike than we are different. But when we live in separation and separateness, that's where fear is. And when we decide that we're not going to do that, we're not going to separate ourselves in that way, we're able to return to love. And there are like a million books I could refer people to look at to really help bolster and build that up for them as well.
Fantastic. And we're going to get into some of your favorite books here in just a little bit. But I wanted to start with that conversation about fear, because when we talk about building a brand, building a business, attracting money, it seems to be that this fear conversation is usually a barrier before we can even start to look at, okay, what is your authentic brand and what is your greatest value that you can offer to the world in exchange for business? Mm-hmm. And knowing that you are a branding business expert, let's get into the branding. So sure. What is your definition of a brand, Amber?
Yeah, so I believe that branding is our sacred opportunity to be who we really are. And I think if you can just snapshot in your mind a couple brands, businesses, you can personal brands or larger businesses that you just love, think about how authentic they are and what some of their core values are. You can immediately start flipping through, that you understand. It's like you just get a multi-sensory understanding of that brand just when I say those words. And you have this transformational, the experience is really the right word. You have this transformational experience just by being engaged with that brand, that business, right? And so branding is so cool to me because you've heard me already talk about a lot of like very feeling-based emotions, like a feeling-based experience in this world, like very energetic, vibrational, frequency, all these things. Branding is about vibration. Branding is about frequency. You're either a match or you're not. And one of the ways that I can just kind of illustrate this for you is I just want you to think for a moment of what, and I'm going to say two different stores just to give you I want you to have the physical experience. And these are stores that people go into all the time. If that's okay, I want to share what these are. Okay. So yeah. I'm just going to say a brand name and I want to tell you to tell me immediately what comes up for you. Target. What do you see? What do you hear? What comes up?
I think of discount and reliability.
Reliability. What color do you see?
Red.
All right. Do you smell anything? Is there a smell associated?
I think there is a smell. Yeah, I think I can smell it.
Yeah, exactly. Right. There's a smell. And then oftentimes if you linger a little further, you're like, ooh, and then there's a Starbucks that's in there. And I smell a little bit of the Starbucks and, oh, I can picture it. Right. So like I just said, all I did was say the name of the brand and you had a sensory experience.
Nice.
So I'll say one
I like
more.
That. That's really cool.
Walmart.
It's been a while since I've been in a Walmart because I live in LA and they're not allowed in the LA area. But I remember in college, there was a Walmart in my town in Texas, and I bought everything at Walmart. So it actually is taking me back to like college years is what I'm thinking of.
And what color?
Blue.
Blue everything, right? Okay. And is there a smell?
Yeah, I kind of think I remember like the produce section or something. I remember there being like produce at the beginning. You're taking me way back.
I'm taking it back. Right. So you just had a multi-sensory experience just thinking about a brand. So that's why branding is so powerful, because I could go on saying brands to you and you'll be like colors, sights, memories, fond memories, or not so fond memories. Sometimes when I say either one of those, people go, ugh, right? They have a visceral experience because they don't particularly like that brand. So it's really, really important that we understand branding in this way, which is very feeling-based, emotion-based, and we use that to our benefit when we're building out our brands and our businesses.
This is so cool. I love this conversation because a lot of people are intimidated by the word brand. Right. And they think, oh, you have to have millions of dollars and a marketing budget and you have to have all this PR behind you. But your conversation and what I love about what you're saying is that everybody has an opportunity to create this brand. And it is the authentic vibration of who you are.
Yes.
So what is the value of creating a brand? Why would we even want to do this?
Well, you already have one. So I think that's the thing that we need to just clarify, right? Like everybody already has a brand when you think about it. Even my neighbor, I can just think about like when I walk in the front door of his house, there's a particular smell of what his house smells like. Like he listens to a particular song on his motorcycle when he drives in, certain type of music. So when I think of him, there are certain characteristics and energetics and emotions that are evoked for me already when I just think of this person. And so I want to start there and say that because we often make it so much more complicated than we need to. And that let's also then like right size it. So, my neighbor Marty's probably not going to make a website for himself because he doesn't have anything that he's trying to sell. But when we think about ourselves with personal brands or our companies that we're building, then we're going to create digital assets that are representations that help to evoke some part of the story and the emotionality of the brand through their existence, if you will, right? And so I have a website that tells a story and you can connect with it and you can feel what you feel in relationship to it and you might vibe with it and you might not. But my website's really important because it's me in pixels, right? It's like it's me as much as I can put myself on the page on a website, that's me. And if you don't resonate with it, if you don't resonate with my copy, if it doesn't land for you, that's okay. That just means you're probably not my ideal client. But my ideal client will say to me, wow, everything you wrote on that page and those images, like I can't even put words to it. I just felt like so seen. I felt so witnessed. And that's the whole point. That's the whole point. So I want to help people to just recognize like your job as a business owner and someone who's building out their brand is just to create assets and to put out content in the world that is the full expression of you. To be as creative and as unique. And yes, to enlist help when needed. Like I had a designer help me build this website for me. In the past, I used to do my own. And now I was ready to bring someone in and have them help me build it and to see the vision. And their skills are at a higher level. So I'm hiring them to do it. And we work together to develop that digital representation, right? That visual representation of my brand. Does that help like kind of clarify that piece of it all? Like just seeing it a little bit differently than saying, oh, my brand is my logo, my colors, my fonts. That's not your brand. You are your brand, your heartbeat, your ethos, your values. That's your brand. And you can't hold it in your hands. You can't touch it. Your brand is intangible. and that's part, why I love it so much.
It's so fun to geek out on this with you because I geek out on this too. The brand, I see it as almost as it's a reflection of you, it's a version of you, and it's a part of, it's almost like a mirror that's reflecting back to you, but it's evolving all the time.
Yes.
And so it's not something that you can touch or feel or say, here it is, and let me wrap it up in a bow. And the minute you actually define it, you are confining it.
Yes.
And I always say that by the time I press send or the time I press refresh, it's already outdated. Because the brand has already evolved, my essence, my soul, my mission, my purpose, and it's something I am in service of.
Amen. Beautifully said. I love that.
That's cool. Yeah, I knew we were going to get along here in this kind of vibe. Well, and it just opens up the conversation. And I love what you said about you have a brand, whether you like it or not, or whether you're aware of it or not. That just takes this pressure off of like, now I have to go build something. I have to go be something I'm not. It's like, no, it's just actually relaxing and accepting the truth of who you are. And the more alignment you are with relaxing into it, would you agree that the more effective your brand will be?
Absolutely. And the more sales that you will get most often, because people want to connect with people, not some, digital representation that's like the diluted version of you. The thing that people say to me all the time, and I always find this to be kind of like a funny compliment, but I'll take it, but they'll always say, I love how real you are. I just love how real you are. And I think to myself, well, like what other way is there to be? I don't really know. I'm just know how to be myself, But I think in the world that we live in, Andrea, we've been told not to be ourselves for so long. And so it is like this act of reclamation that I think many of us as adults we're on this like journey to just come home to ourselves and to evolve into the fullness of who we really are. And oftentimes it kind of feels like it's an act of rebellion to the ways in which it was, we felt like we had to be before. But again, it's the most freeing thing in the entire world to just allow yourself to be you. And then, to then build a brand and then to, be able to earn an income to support your family by just sharing your natural gifts and what you're passionate about and who you really are. There's just nothing more thrilling than that, frankly.
Yes, absolutely. And I am in the expression of the fun and saying, hey, I want a brand where I can bring back the 80s hairstyle. Yes, I want to do that. And it's for me and it's for my fun and expression. And if that's something that's meaningful to you, then creating a brand that is authentic, that can serve those parts of you that need to be expressed. I'm all about self-expression, soul expression as a publisher and as an author. And so would you agree that there are parts of yourself that you can express through your brand that maybe you couldn't express in other places?
Yes. One of the places would be, you can see in the background here, my sign, it says Ignite Your Soul. And I have a live event that I do. And of course, this year we had to postpone it till 2021, but we have, 500 women and men come from all over to Portsmouth, New Hampshire, to where we host this event at this incredible venue called the Music Hall in our city. And I just, I'm like really into music and playing music in really important and poignant and theatrical ways to help create experience and having, our audience do deep, just journaling work and self-discovery work and going through this process over the course of these 2 days and having speakers come in and all of that, and I'm like rocking out the entire time. Like I'm like, it's deep. It's some deep, deep stuff that happens in those walls over the course of those 2 days. And, I can do that in my coaching programs and virtually and stuff like that. But if I was like doing that in my driveway, my neighbor might be like, what in the actual, what are you doing? And if I'm doing that, like at my daughter's school or something, my brand has been this place for me to like really step into that rock star version of me. When I was a little girl, I wanted to be a pop star. And so now I feel like I get to be like a personal development pop star and like get on stage and teach and, you know, sing to the music and dance and just have the most amazing time with these people who are ready to, you know, step up into that next level of themselves. And so, yeah, I think that is such a beautiful way to say it. You know, it allows you to be more of who you really are when you create that container in that really aligned way.
Oh my gosh, these events sound like so much fun. I want to go to the branding pop star event. Sounds like my kind of tea.
May 1st and 2nd, 2021, the Ignite Your Soul Summit. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I can't wait.
I love it. Well, this, you know, we could go deeper and deeper into the branding conversation, but I know that we're just going to put a little pen mark there and say this rabbit hole goes very deep. Let's shift over into the business and actually building products or services that have value. There's a lot of people who are looking to either create additional income or they have realized that this economic shift that they're in, the way that they were creating income or even their business is no longer having the same impact. And would you agree that this shift is now the best opportunity to become an entrepreneur?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's showing people that working from home isn't as bad as it maybe seemed. And it's actually like pretty sweet. And it helps them to have more freedom, I think, in more aspects of their life than they probably would have even been able to consider. So I think that part is really important, you know, in terms of like just value shifting and just that, you know, like do you need all those cars and do you need all these things? Like you can really reallocate your finances in different ways when you make a decision to have a work from home business. It's pretty wild. And I always think about too, you know, it's like we pay for these mortgages and then we leave all the time. And then we're like never in the actual house that we're paying so much money to have. We just sleep at it, you know? And so I love that like the houses are getting their day right now and people are getting to like really pour into their home and love their space and make it more sacred to support them in a really holistic way. So that's the first part. The second part would be that yes, like the world has shifted to understand that the virtual model really does work and that we can get a lot of value from doing information sharing and from learning about, you know, from people's expertise and in much more convenient ways than I think that we were even able to conceptualize before. And so, I mean, even down to like college education becoming virtual, like almost 100% virtual in some places and spaces. So this information product industry and the opportunity to really sell things from creating businesses from home, whether you're mailing things to people, whatever, I mean, there's many iterations to do it. I feel like we're like getting the spotlight, you know, and the ease factor is being revealed in a way. And it's really, really exciting because I think that there maybe was a little stigma before. Would you agree, Andrea, that there was a little bit of oh, you work from home, you know, like people didn't really, like the collective didn't really fully get that.
Absolutely. I love what you are saying because I have been creating digital products since 2006. And so I learned the power of the internet and digital products and passive income and reaching a global audience way before this shift ever happened. But I remember that, oh, where's your office? Oh, can I, you know, oh, you don't have an office. And I was like, no, my team is virtual. We work from all over the world at any time of day. And it allowed me to build businesses very effectively because I didn't have those overheads for office and then the insurance that comes with it and even the commute time. You know, I mean, my commute is just from the other room. But now that this shift has occurred, people are like, okay, how do I create value? And how do I build relationships in the digital environment? It doesn't mean that we don't want to stay connected. It just means that we have to shift our perspective of how do we serve more and give more value. I think that's really leveled everything too, is you can no longer hide behind a fancy corporation. It's really about the connection of value to value and consumer to business. Would you agree?
100%. Yeah. So to answer your question about how our viewers can add more value, I think it's important to go back to the basics around, what is it that you really want to do, and how do you want to add value? And I think the other part that's really important, and this is a question I don't think we often ask ourselves enough, because we're so hot off the line to get into the race of like keeping up with everybody else's structure and everybody else's way of doing things. But, your way of adding value might be really, really different than some of the things that you've experienced or some of the ways that you're seeing other people do it. And so that introspective time to say, like, what would feel like just, you hit the jackpot level of value for your clients. And then also introspectively, what has been the most valuable for me, in terms of what my learning process is and the ways that I need support. And then on the other side of it, where were there major breakdowns in the value chain for me? What really didn't add value for me, but it was maybe touted as being super valuable, but it didn't actually help me very much. I think really having that 360-degree conversation and view of this can help entrepreneurs and business owners to just do a more robust job at building in value proposition to their products, to their services, to their offerings that are going to actually work with their clients, and not just be this kind of fluffy stuff that we throw in there because we think we're supposed to. I don't think there's any real time or room for that anymore, to be honest.
Amazing. Yes. The value conversation, not just what value you're creating for others, but the value for yourself, yes, the value for your business. And that goes back into what we were saying about that authentic brand and that authentic expression, because there are so many options now because of the internet, and we are connected 24 hours a day, 7 days a week by digital light. If you aren't creating value for everybody involved, your customers, your team, and yourself, then people are going to feel that. And when you are creating value, people want to be a part of it. They realize, wow, she's living her best life, or wow, he's putting out the best possible version of himself. The content is what creates that connection. So I love that you mentioned valuing the creator and the entrepreneur at the heart of that. That's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, again, another conversation that we could definitely keep going down, because I see that you see value on more levels than just putting a price tag and saying, this is the number that I want to charge. It is about this vibration that we're moving into. So I want to shift and ask you some personal questions, if that's okay. You've given us so much value in this conversation already. And now I have a series of questions that I ask all of my guests who show up for my TV show. And so we'll just do kind of a rapid fire, whatever comes to mind, okay?
All right, let's do it.
All right, here we go. So first question, Amber, what is your star power?
What is my star power?
Yeah.
My heart, how much I care and love. Yeah, that's definitely, my heart. Yeah.
That's so beautiful. And especially to hear in a business conversation, because I think a lot of people have bought into the belief that in order to be successful, they have to shut down their heart. And you are proof that your heart can be your greatest value.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you for that.
That's beautiful. I love it. Okay. Next question. What book has had the most influence on your life?
Ooh, my life. I'm with The Book of Awakening by Mark Nepo. And Mark Nepo is my most favorite poet and author. He's life-changing. So The Book of Awakening, it's a daily, has like little daily passages and you can read it. He's been on Super Soul Sunday. It's a best-selling book. The Book of Awakening. Yes.
That's great. Well, I love books, and I believe that every successful person is influenced by books. It's just one of the patterns that you see. It's like the self-care rituals.
Oh my gosh.
It's like every successful entrepreneur has deep self-care and loves books. And so I always like to get deep into
I'm like, only one, Andrea? Come on. Yes.
I know, but hey, I told you these questions are not going to be easy, but you're doing great. Okay, next question. Who has most positively impacted your life?
My mom. Yeah, my mom. I mean, my mom and my dad. That's tricky to say one more than the other. But yeah, my parents, their perseverance, their conviction, their devotion to family, and riding through the really hard parts of life and the seasons of life, and being imperfect, and then owning that, and then continuing onward and supporting my brother and I and our visions, and working tirelessly in order to make it possible for us to have the resources that we did as kids. Their presence for sure, and their hearts for sure.
Aw, what a wonderful answer. Hopefully you will show them this interview so they can see
I will.
What an amazing impact. That's beautiful. Okay, next question. What is your favorite subject to talk about?
My favorite subject to talk about is mindset. Absolutely, 1,000,000%. I believe firmly that your business will never outperform your self-concept, and your strategies will never transcend your mindset and where you believe you are in relationship to those strategies. And so I have so many business owners that come to me wanting strategy, like, let's do it. Let's put the tires in the snow and let's get rolling. And we have to go into the beliefs, because the beliefs are the things that actually make the strategies work or not. So I love it, because that's an opportunity for someone to have a quantum leap in consciousness and really shift on a cellular level and on a vibrational level to change the course of history for their entire life. So mindset, hands down.
Oh my gosh. I'm going to give you a big high five. Boom. That's freaking rock star material right there. And the how-to becomes addictive, right? It's like, just tell me how to do it. Just tell me how to do it. And I can't tell you how many conversations I've had with people who are either wanting to build a business or lose weight or get healthy or whatever it may be. And they're just like, tell me what to do. Just tell me how to do it. And I say, actually, we need you to learn how to. Yes. Meaning that when this how-to stops, you're going to need to figure out how to apply a new how-to. And it goes to, I love that term you use, quantum level consciousness. Yeah. And as an entrepreneur, I know I'm constantly faced with new obstacles. And if I didn't learn the how to, and how to go to that meta level, or figure out from a perspective where I'm not in the problem, but I'm looking at the problem from a different vantage point, I would never have made it for 16 years as an entrepreneur. Right.
That's true. Yes. Yeah, you're spot on with that.
That's awesome. And that's so great that you're saying that, because there are a lot of people out there who are just selling the how to, and here's the quick fix. Yeah. And so the fact that you are authentically saying it
doesn't work. It's not, it's like, it's the short high. It's, to me, just for me, I'm not saying this in relationship to anybody else, because of what my calling is here and what I know. And also I had a near-death experience when my daughter was born. So I literally had like an actual quantum leap in consciousness. Like I was just changed during that experience. I can't unknow that. And I know what my calling is here. And so if I try to do that, it's the least authentic thing I can do. When I see what the real challenge is, and I just care so deeply about people, I just love people so much. And I want to help people. I have a heart for helping people. So I have to go to the thing that's actually going to help them, for the long game, for their life.
Amazing. Okay. Well, I have to ask, this isn't on my list of questions, but can you speak to that near-death experience? Can you tell us about what happened?
Yeah. So, 2013, my daughter was born, and I had an emergency C-section. And while I was in the operating room, I ended up having what's called a high spinal tap, and I stopped breathing on the operating room table. My diaphragm was essentially frozen from the anesthesia. And ultimately, you know, I had just a sort of departure from my body spiritually. You know, I saw in front of me the clarity of, you're not doing what you know you're here to do. I knew that I wanted to write books and tell my story of being a survivor of childhood sexual abuse, and, you know, just share my story of who I was born to be. I was working in collegiate athletics marketing at a high level in my university athletic department. I'd been there for 10 years. And I loved it. You know, I taught at the university and I had mentored students, and I loved what I was doing there, but I was doing it in a box. And it wasn't really me stepping into the fullness of what I knew I was here to do. And I was so afraid because of that one question, I didn't know how. And so I just kept putting it off, kept putting it off. And now here I am, not breathing, potentially not going to actually meet my child. And it was this like wide open moment where I felt God's presence, and there was a beautiful surrender process that happened for me. And in that, you know, just saying like, I hear you, I see you, I understand. It was like a switch of a flip of a switch. And I was back in the operating room, and my daughter was born. And, you know, it was not something I was able to speak to for a while. I didn't even really understand. I had some PTSD stuff happening in weeks after. And, but I was able to really unravel it through some deep work. And what I then tasked myself with was I need to move in the direction of where my life has been leading me all along. And it took about 8 months after Ani was born. And then I launched my business with one client, you know, literally like working in the wee hours of the nights. Baby doesn't sleep, husband, who's a police officer, working the night shift. I'm like building my Squarespace website. And I get that first client, which was just the greatest gift. Melissa, I will be forever grateful for her. And I just knew I had to give my notice. And I did on the Monday. I walked away from my 10-year career. I was one of the top sport marketing professionals in the country. But I just knew this is what I was here to do. And I also, I needed to be with my girl. I needed to be home with my baby. I didn't want to miss the moments I couldn't get back. And so I left my job, and, you know, it's been 6 years now since then. And I've built this business, and I've been home for all the words and the steps and the, you know, the bruised knees and the hugs and all that stuff.
Wow. I love this. What an incredible story. I mean, thank you so much for sharing your truth and sharing that awakening moment. And you have definitely made the most of this second chance. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah. Fantastic. I'm so grateful.
Yeah. Wow. That was awesome. Okay. So back to my other question before we took that incredible side track, but that was so deep and so special. And just your authentic expression of it is amazing. Okay. What do you want your legacy to be?
Just love. Honestly, just love. I just want to love well. I want, I want to be honest. You know, I don't want to waste it. I want to be present for my people. I want to born, you know, into the fullness of myself. Like I really want to be brave enough to put the words on the page. I want to be open enough to receive them, and not distracted by my fear or my old patterns. You know, I want to be just so fully committed and immersed to be that open channel to receive. And that's it though. You know, it used to be, I think it's important to speak to, like, it used to be like best-selling author, all these things. And it's just like, impact. I believe that impact is just loving someone well. It's just showing up. It's pushing past your comfort zones, being brave, but like being true and not selling out from a place of fear, if that makes sense. It's like having my name in lights used to mean something to me, but it just doesn't anymore. What means the most to me is just like the connection. And so I just want to do more of that. Yeah.
Phenomenal. Just truly beautiful. That snippet right there, I could see that as becoming an affirmation that people can say over and over and again. That's incredible. Wow, Amber, you've really done deep soul work. And our conversations are so rich and so deep, but I'm just going to lighten it up a little bit. Next question. If any actress could play you in a movie, who would it be?
Oh, man. I don't know. When I was younger, people would always say, "You look like Alicia Silverstone." And
yeah, there you go.
I love Clueless. That was such a fun movie, like the As If,
Yeah.
And my original AOL name was Ambular 999. So I'm just going to go with Alicia Silverstone. She's also a vegan and I am too. So we'll just go with that.
Yeah, you totally have the Alicia Silverstone
Yeah.
vibe, And I just saw that it's like the 25th anniversary or something of that.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's a
Perfect.
great show.
Perfect.
I love it. It's so fun. Okay, next question. So what is your favorite place that you've ever traveled?
My favorite place that I've ever traveled. I love Kauai, Hawaii. It's so beautiful and so spiritual and so deep. And I went there for a writing retreat back in 2016 with one of my beloved friends and mentors. And I'm just dying to take my family back with me and to go with my husband and my daughter. So yeah, I saw a humpback whale. The moment I got there, I was on the beach by myself and this whale jumped and I was like rainbows. I'm like, this place is so magical. So yeah, Kauai is incredible.
That's a great one. Hawaii is definitely magical.
Yes.
I see double rainbows and triple rainbows whenever I go there. It just floods you with so much beauty and magic. I think it's the perfect word. Perfect place to write and be inspired to. Aloha spirit. Amazing. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm going to ask one last superficial but fun question, and then we're going to go back to the deep, okay?
Okay.
So what is your secret indulgence?
My secret indulgence. What is my secret? I love memes. Like I love a meme. I love like scrolling and just laughing hysterically and then sending memes to like my best friend, a couple of my best friends and my husband. My husband and I'll be sitting next to each other, sending each other memes, just laughing hysterically. That's my secret. Yeah.
I love that. That's cute. Well, memes are amazing. I mean, we could geek out on memes because they actually have a life of their own. The thought patterns that are repeated. It's almost, like a virus. They can see the pattern of like it starts and then it begins to replicate. And that's actually a whole fascinating conversation. But memes are super cute.
They are. I love, like, my daughter loves to look at the one, like the cat memes or like the funny pet memes. And she'll just be like, Mom, can we look at memes? And then we'll just go to like funny animals or something and see cats jumping and making weird noises. It's so fun. We just, and laughter is, it releases, the happy chemicals in your brain. And it's like detoxing just to laugh and just play like that. So we love to laugh in this house a lot.
Oh, that's amazing. I love to laugh as well. That's definitely my love language is laughter. When someone is funny and witty and doesn't take themselves too seriously, that's the thing. High IQ and brilliance, of course, that's revered and admired. But when someone can laugh at themselves and get you to laugh, I think that connection is just priceless.
Totally agree.
Yay. Well, I see many more opportunities for us to laugh together in the future. Amber, you have taken us on such an incredible ride. I've given a lot of interviews over the years, and you have won the award for, I will say, the biggest range. We have covered so many different elements of branding, business, authenticity, fear, and then your powerful transformational story. Thank you so much for just being the fullest, authentic you that we get to witness here today.
Thank you so much. It was so fun to just I love conversations like this when you're an amazing interviewer and space holder. And I just appreciate the bright you that you are, the star that you are, Andrea. Thank you.
Aw, what a sweet thing to say. And, our time flew by because as we were going through all these conversations, I was like, okay, I have to stop this because any one of them could have gone on and on and on and on. And I know that this is just the beginning. You have so much value to add and to contribute. And just in a closing thought, a closing gift, what would you like to give the viewer who has come through this journey with us and you have this beautiful heart, this beautiful voice of expression. What is your parting gift that you'd like to give our viewer?
Well, two things. One quote that I say all the time that I think can just like go the distance and you can take it with you. It's, if the dream is in you, it's for you. And not to forget that. It's the truth. I've seen it a million times over and I know it's true in my own life. So just, I give you that. And then also I've put together a training called Mindset Mastery. And it's just it's an on-demand training. So you don't have to wait for it. You know, it's not automated. You just sign up and you can watch it whenever you want. And it's about a 30-minute training where I teach the excavation, illumination, reclamation, liberation process, and helping you just to really understand, oh, this is why I keep doing this. This is why I keep getting stuck in these grooves. And you can watch that training and hopefully take some notes and get some value from it. And you can just go to amberlilyestrom.com/masterclass to grab that.
Wow, what an incredible gift. Thank you. That's amazing. I know that I'm going to be following you, and I know our viewer is going to want to follow you, because I have a feeling you're just getting started, aren't you?
Yeah. I mean, you know, I'm here for the long game. So let's just, you know, rock on. You know what I just realized, Andrea? I gave the wrong link. It's amberlilyestrom.com/webinar. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
But it's right on my homepage, so you can go right there and grab it.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you for that clarification, and we will definitely come and check you out. Oh my goodness. I wish our time wasn't done, but this is just the beginning. Amber, thank you again. Big, big heart ball of love and light to you and all you are creating. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, sister. I appreciate you so much.
Aww. Well, thank you as our viewer for watching, for being with us on this journey. I have to say that it is always an incredible experience, because starting and getting deep and letting the conversation unfold, I know I always get so much from it. I always learn, I grow, and really, isn't that what being a star is all about? It is about shining your light, inspiring others, connecting with others from your true, authentic self. I hope that you have taken away some gold nuggets and sparkle to fill you up. And remember, this is your time, and the world needs your gifts. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.